Ian Sharma is with us here tonight, and Ian's a good friend. Ian's been with us for a long time. Good round of applause. You know, it's really unique. Ian is originally from Great Britain. He lives in the Bay Area now. A couple of other things. Ian is on our lead panel and has really been instrumental in helping give us a lot of advice on how and the best ways to grow this event. He also is part of the International Skyrunning Federation athlete panel and has been instrumental in providing feedback and support to their group. So he's really the international man. And this summer he battled it out with another international band, what I fondly refer to as Battle of the Brits, to try to break the Grand Slam of ultra running record. So that's, I jokingly say, why he's not running this weekend. But I just want to take a minute. You know, everybody, I get a lot of questions about what that's like. That's basically 400-mile races over a very short time during the summer. So not seeing your family, not being at home. But, you know, first of all, he shattered the record and he was pushed all the way, if you don't know. So a round of applause for what a hell of a time. So, you know, I think people would probably like to know a couple things. You know, what motivated you? It obviously went well, but what was the worst part of this summer?
Well, coming back to the facial hair, you see, Nick has a big beard and I don't, so I felt I had to kind of pull through for the non-facial hair. There's too many beards in ultra running at the moment, so that was part of it. But I mean, it's just the fact of the competition, of having a good friend of mine, Nick Clark, to race the whole summer. We were back and forth. 2 of the races he beat me, 2 of the races I beat him. So we were always running together for large portions. So really the competition between the 2 of us, I think, was the thing that drove me on the most. I mean, getting the record was great, but really the only thing that mattered was how I did against him and kind of how I enjoyed it. And talking about how difficult and the hardest parts of it. The two things stick out. One of them was the second race, which is Vermont 100. And that was 3 weeks after Western States, so the legs are still a bit tired, and the body hasn't kind of got used to this idea of doing 100-milers in succession. So I actually really struggled in that race. Thought I might end up walking in the last 20 or 30 miles, and I just felt horrible all day. So that was not an enjoyable experience. Nick and I finished very close to each other, about 3 minutes apart, but both of us had nasty days out there and didn't enjoy it at all. The other thing I'd say in terms of the hardest part of the whole Grand Slam was the last 25 miles of the whole 400 is by far the toughest terrain. So it's at the Wasatch Front 100 miler in the mountains near Salt Lake City in Utah. And it's just very technical, a lot of scree, very steep. You're doing it at night, and you're already shattered that far into the race. So I just wanted to be done at about mile 80. And you generally want to be done at mile 80 anyway, but I was just miserable and feeling sorry for myself. So I'm just glad that basically I didn't have any bad luck through the summer, because to do 400 milers, you have to make sure that you can turn up to each of them uninjured and not ill. So if I'd have caught up a bug or twisted my ankle or something halfway through, then it all would have been all gone wrong for me. So it definitely takes some luck to stay healthy for that long as well. And that's why I'm not racing here, because it was only 3 weeks ago that last race was.
We're going to wrap it up with this for a moment. Any questions for Ian while we have everybody here? I mean, it was a tremendous summer. For any particular questions? Everyone knows like to run 400 miles in the summer. Any questions? We have a shy group. Go ahead. Rule out. Would you do it again?
No. That was another motivator for me, the fact that I knew that as long as I finished it and had given it my best effort and nothing went too badly wrong, I would never have to do it again. So if someone breaks the record next year, great, have fun, I'm not doing it again. It's too much effort.
Great, thank you.
I have 2 last questions, and we're going to close things. For a couple of guys, so we got a couple of guys here. Yes, I'm pointing at you, and you kind of guys. We have conversations. Some of us didn't grow up in the mountains, like, you know, most of you, and my better half, Francesca and the Owls, that sort of thing. Some of us grew up actually liking to run roads, enjoying running roads, run a lot of roads, marathons. We have some people there that have run some very fast marathons. They've been to the Olympic trials on multiple occasions. And as I had a chance to talk about that kind of history and background, we have a section here that's really lends itself well to people finding their groove in that area. Just real quickly, as we hit the rec path, you know, how do you look at that?
I wish Michael was first on this, but you know, ultra running's still really new to me. This is my first year. I'm being taught by other rookies that I run with in Boulder, and I'm like, man, you're a stud, you're going to coach me, you know, because I'm learning so much right now. at this point in ultra running, about the extra calories it takes when you're going uphill, how that affects you 20, 30 miles down into a race. So I'm still on the early part of my learning curve. Whether or not I'm a fast marathoner on the road, I think maybe I can use that on the path up on the hill, basically from Copper Mountain down to the turn to go up to the top of Vail Pass, or to the top of the mountain here.
Right.
But we'll see. If I am smart early,
Right.
I can maybe use some of that.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you. And just real quickly, Malcolm, we talked about this several times, I think you really made a tremendous effort there. And I've sort of said, several years ago, I'm going to enjoy running on rocks and, and try that, practice that. And obviously you've won mountain races and you've done very well. You've come off some injuries, but I mean, you guys, a lot of it have very similar backgrounds on the roads. And how do you think that'll help you tomorrow?
I think it'll be nice to be able to, to run fast, and, relatively fast, once you get on the parts that you can run fast that are a little bit flatter. But I think you got to get there, like Trent said, you got to get there in a
Good shape.
in a relatively good place, and then hopefully you can start cutting down some of the time that you've maybe given away to somebody else. But it'll be nice to be able to use a little of that speed and leg turnover, and then hopefully be able to keep plugging all the way up to the top.
Cool. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, I think Francesca has a question for Emily, and we're going to close it on that note.
Not just Emily. I have a question for the people that run in the mountains a lot right now. And two of you run in some of the most beautiful places in the world, Norway and northern Italy, and Helen runs around here. So I just wanted to know from each of you, one at a time, what do you like most about running in the mountains?
Good question now. I love the freedom there and to be able to move fast to new places, new mountains, and that's such a freedom feeling, and to push your limits there. It's very amazing.
Thank you. Hey, Francesca?
For me, it's the same. I really like the freedom that I can get running in the mountain. I like to climb, and more steeper is better. I like to run faster in the path too, but I have to get used to, because where I live, I just have a steeper mountain, so I'm used just to them. And however, I really like to stay in the nature and to see trees and animals, this kind of thing. On the road, I find it boring. Really boring.
I think we all do. Sorry, Michael. It's Helen?
I agree with Francesca. Yeah, I run for the solitude in the mountains, and I actually try to choose routes where I don't see anyone. And I also really like to climb. It's a special feeling for me, and I like being outdoors. I hate feeling cooped up, and I get bored on the roads. Sorry.
It's fine. I like being in nature and seeing animals too. I don't have anything against them.
It's very true. And before we go, I just wanted once again to really thank all the sponsors that are here and have supported us and are outside in the snow. And tomorrow's going to be beautiful, so stick around. Starting with Competitor Magazine, Hoka 11. Raise your hand if you're here. La Sportiva, Cliff Bar, Hypoxico, Ultimate Direction, Scott Running, where are you? You're here, there he is. Vertical Runner is out there. Wilderness Sports is out there. They've been incredibly supportive. Ultra Zero Drop is here. Are you guys here? Raise your hand, say hello, great, thank you. Have I forgotten anybody? But Engine G, Swiftwick is going to be at Copper Mountain, so make sure you go see them tomorrow. Green Layer, PackSafe, and Oral IV. Thank you so, so very much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care.